Edith Abbott was a pioneer of her day. Edith was born into a family whose endeavors fostered her to do great things. She inherited the drive and the spirit to make a difference through her mother and father. She was an educator, author, and activist. Her mother, Elizabeth, was abolitionist and a suffrage leader of her day. Her mother believed in equal rights for all, and especially women. The mother taught them similar values. Her father, Othman, was the first lieutenant governor of Nebraska. His contributions were anti-slavery platform through his time in office. Edith was born September 26, 1876. Her sister Grace was born 2 years later. Edith and her sister Grace had humble beginnings in life. They lived in Grand Island, Nebraska. She graduated from an all-girls school in Omaha, Nebraska, the year 1893. She was not able to go to college after graduating high school. She found herself teaching in her hometown of Grand Island, Nebraska. She saved enough money to go to college through correspondence courses and summer sessions, in which she was able to graduate from the University of Nebraska in 1901. Then she went on to get her PhD in economics. She graduated from the University of Chicago in 1905. Edith studied in London after receiving a Carnegie Fellowship from the University College in 1906. She studied underneath Sidney and Beatrice Webb. After being in London for a year, she decided to relocate to Boston to teach economics. After a year in Boston, Edith returned to Chicago. She went to help at the Hull House with Jane Addams and her sister Grace Abbott. She also worked alongside several others, like Alice Hamilton and Mary Kinney Sullivan. The sisters worked endlessly to reform the poverty issues and help end suffrage for women and children throughout this time. She also worked on improving housing for the poor. Edith also worked on labor legislation for the immigrated women and children. Throughout her work, Edith still educated people. The year 1920, Edith worked as an assistant to Suspamba Breckinridge. These two women worked on transferring the School of Civic and Philanthropy to the University of Chicago, then later was renamed the School of Social Service Administration. Edith was bound and determined to make education for social work to be at a graduate level. This would have a connection to a university but treated as a professional discipline different from the social sciences. The year 1924 to 1942, Edith was the first woman dean of the university-based graduate level for social work. During this time, she developed the curriculum for social work education that consistently emphasized the value of formal education and field work together. This was to ensure the social work had vast knowledge of the social issues that surrounded them. This curriculum included classes with some medical and judicial criteria in them. These classes were only taught at the School of Social Service Administration before they were recommended to other universities as a part of their curriculum. After establishing this criteria, Edith still worked hard not only as a dean to the school, but also in politics as well. In 1926, she helped develop the Bureau of Public Welfare in Cook County, Illinois. Another contribution, she helped develop and draft the Social Security Act in 1935 alongside Harry Hopkins and President Roosevelt. During this time, she was acknowledged as a confidant and consultant to Harry Hopkins and chief advisor to the president. The age of 66, she retired and moved back to Grand Island, Nebraska. She lived she went to live with her brother Arthur. Edith neither married or had children. She kept writing and has written over 100 books and articles over many different topics. Edith passed away when she was 81 from complications of pneumonia in 1957. She donated the bulk of her estate to the Grand Island Public Library in memory of her mother Elizabeth. On March 20th of each year, they celebrate the Abbott's Sister Day. Edith Abbott was a true pioneer for our country. She was wiser beyond her years because of the efforts through education and fighting the social inequalities for women and children, along with any other social issue that did arise. She was on the forefront trying to make things better, and little did she know, she paved the way and is the founder of our social service system of today.